and I am from Lockhart, Texas, which is the very farthest north you can get in District 27. I have been teaching public school for the last 17 years. I currently teach first grade. I've taught fourth grade, second grade, and first grade. My husband is a high school teacher. He teaches government economics. This is his 17th year teaching as well. We have one daughter, she's 22. She's at the University of Kingsville studying animal science and with a minor in, range management or something like that. And she's on their track team. So we stay pretty busy with her and with work, but my husband and I have not really ever been politically active. We vote and we know what's going on, but just not like really involved in politics. We sit around a lot at night and we figure out how to fix the world, right? And just in the last few years, I have been very frustrated with the fact that I vote and I vote and I call and I call and I feel like my voice isn't being heard. And so he has really tried to get me to run for office for quite some time. And I was kind of like, no, I'm just a first grade teacher. I'm not going to run for office. And so I follow the Democratic Party of Caldwell County on social media. And in November, they made a post that Michael Codd was going to be running unopposed. And I went, well, there's my sign, right? So I got in contact with the Democratic Party there in Caldwell County and was like, hey, what are you looking for in a candidate? We sat down and talked and they said, you are what we're looking for in a candidate. And they introduced me to more people and they said, yes, we want you to run for this office. So I filed on December 10th, and it's been a whirlwind since then. Meeting people, I put 3,000 miles on my car since January 3rd, driving back and forth to all the different towns in District 27. But what really made me want to run for this office is some of the changes that I've seen in the last few years in our government. In particular, the way that public school teachers are viewed, vilified in the media. We work really hard every day to teach our kids what they need to know. We teach them to be good people, caring people, to read and write, all the things that we're supposed to do, that the state of Texas says, here's what we want our kids to know, and we follow those teaks, and that's what we do. And I'm just really frustrated with the way that we're being personified in the media. And then Roe v. Wade was overturned, and I was kind of beside myself because a little story about my daughter. She is now 22, but when I was pregnant with her, I had something called HELLP syndrome, and that's HELLP, and it stands for hypertension, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelets. It is actually caused by the pregnancy, and the only thing that cures it is to not be pregnant anymore. So, fortunately, I was 30 weeks along, and had been in the hospital twice at this point. And I went in the hospital on a Friday afternoon, and my doctor said, you're here from now until this baby's born. So it could be tomorrow, it could be Christmas Day. This was mid-October. I said, okay, here's where we are, right? And he came in to my room Monday morning, and he said, your blood platelets are at 103,000. Your blood doesn't clot below 100,000. We're having a baby today. I said, okay, we're having a baby today. So she was born at 30 weeks. She weighed 3 pounds and 6 ounces and was in the NICU for almost 6 weeks. That being said, I was lucky. I was lucky that I was 30 weeks along and that we were both, I wasn't healthy, she was healthy, right? And once she was born, then my health got better. All of those things that are caused by the pregnancy got better. It took me quite a while to recover from it. But my doctor, when I went back and said, okay, I'm ready for number 2, he's like, no, you cannot. It's not safe for you to get pregnant again because you have an 80% chance of the same thing happening. And if it happens early in the pregnancy, then we have problems. You would have to make a decision to terminate the pregnancy or possibly lose your life. That's where you would be. Because when you're in a situation where your blood's not going to clot anymore, that's not a good place to be. And it scares me to think that there are women out there like me that are in that position, and there is nothing that can change that. There is no medical procedure, nothing that can change it beyond having a baby if they're far enough along, or having an abortion if you're not. There are so many things beyond that. I mean, that's just one example of things that can go wrong. And it's very scary. It's scary for young ladies. It's scary for, anybody that's, in that age range, to have babies. So that really hit me hard. And because I thought, I was lucky. That was in 2001. And I would have been able to make that choice had I needed to. And now I couldn't. I would have to wait until somebody else decided that it was okay for me to either terminate the pregnancy, or I was sick enough that my husband might lose me and a baby both, right? So that really hurt. I mean, that was when that was overturned, that was something that really, really hit me really hard. Working in public schools, another thing that really hurts, hits home, is gun violence. When we have to go to school, days after Uvalde, days after Santa Fe High School, the kids are scared, we're scared, we don't know what's going to happen from day to day. We have lockdowns, we have lockdown drills, we have all kinds of things go on. We don't know when it's going to happen next. We don't know where it's going to happen next. So, I get all emotional. And I know that there are things that can be done. I know that there are. I know that if we work together and make decisions on gun legislation, we can make things happen. We just have to do it. We can raise the age limits. We can require longer waiting periods. We can require licensure. There's so many things that we can do if we just do it. And I come from a red background. I grew up in a red household. I grew up in a Republican household. We own guns. We're gun owners. My husband's a hunter. I was a hunter when I was younger. My daughter knows how to handle guns. We taught her, pretty young. So I'm not looking to take those away. I'm not looking to take those rights away. What I'm looking at is the types of guns that are available, the ease of purchasing those is way too easy. Anybody can walk in, and you look at an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old walking into a gun store. Of course they're going to pass a background check because they have no background, right? Everything that's happened before the age of 18 are sealed records. So even if something were to have happened in their background, guess what? It's not going to pop up on a background check because those records are sealed. So we have to think about those things, and we have to look at those kinds of things to change. Those are my big three stances. Those are the big three reasons why I'm running for this office. And I truly believe that I'm the best person to be here and to be running for this. I know I have an opponent in the primary, and I know that I have a big opponent in the general election. That being said, having grown up the way I grew up, active in FFA and active in 4-H, active in the agricultural community, I have a connection with a lot of people on both sides of the party. And I know what the needs are on both sides of the aisle. And I know what is not being done by our current representative for either side of that aisle. And I really believe that because I am who I am, that I can connect with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. And I'm just so excited about this race. It's been very scary at times. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? But also I have been out to towns like this and met some amazing people who want those changes to happen and believe the same things that I do and are passionate about it. And being able to get out that vote, and it is imperative that we get out that vote, in the primary and in the general election. It's just, it has to happen, because I firmly believe that we can, beat the Republican in the general election, whoever that might be. I have a feeling it might be Michael Bob, but I really think that we can do that. I have talked to a lot of people who are Republicans over the last few weeks, who are very disenchanted with him, because he has not signed the infrastructure bill. He did not sign this bill or that bill or whatever. He has not brought any money into District 27, really, to speak of. And then he bragged about, oh, we brought the infrastructure bill, even though he voted against it. So that's who I am, and that's who I am here, and speaking to you and asking for your support in the primary and in the general election. And I would love to answer questions if you have any. Thank you. Is on your head? No questions?
Maybe what they should do.
I'm sorry?
Maybe what they should do is give everybody a psych evaluation before they sell them a gun.
Well, that would be good too.
You can't,
Yeah.
you know, I mean.
There's a lot of things we can do.
People that have bad tempers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what could trigger them into shooting people.
Yeah.
At that moment. I mean,
Absolutely.
rage can make people do crazy things.
It can. And like I said, there's a lot of things I think we can do. I mean, there's red flag laws out there, but they don't do a lot of good, because basically you have to have been convicted of something for a red flag law to take effect. And, you know, a restraining order is not a red flag. You know, some of these things are not red flags. It's you know, pretty easy to get past that, in my opinion. What we've looked up and what I've looked up, so things that we can do.
Didn't they already remove that, gun training? When it first started, they had it for youngsters. They used to have, gun training they had to go through and get like a permit, and I think they did away with that. They don't have to do that.
So what they've done away with, I believe, in the state of Texas, is a permit for open carry.
Yeah.
So you can, if you want to conceal carry, you do have to have a permit. But if you want to sling your shotgun over your shoulder and walk through HEB, it's perfectly okay. You don't have to have a permit to do that, from my understanding, which I think is kind of wrong. I think you should have a permit to open carry as well as concealed carry. That's just, you know, I mean, I'm not going to carry my gun for HEB, but.
But it's different with guns and rifles though, right?
I'm sorry?
It's different with guns and rifles.
You mean like a handgun or a rifle?
Yeah, in that, aren't the laws for handguns different than they are for rifles?
For concealed carry or for open carry? I don't think so. I think if you open carry, there's not a permit for that. You don't have to have a permit to open carry.
I don't know, I don't see too many anymore. Remember, the rednecks used to carry their guns on the racks back here?
Oh yeah, when I was in high school,
But you
dove
can't
season, you know. Yeah, they were all there. But, you used to have a permit for
Yeah, but
open.
there, so I mean.
Well, you can't do that
you
anymore,
have
because
it
you
there
can't
for a
have them on
purpose.
school
Yeah,
grounds.
but I'm saying people had them there for a purpose,
Yeah,
you know?
they were
There's
there
a
for a
reason.
purpose, right. But when we talk about open carry, we're talking about people that want to walk into the grocery store or the movie theater or to the concert openly carrying a weapon. And I don't see that very often. I've seen it a few times, but not very often. So, but I think there are places that do,
Well,
where more people do.
I'm sure there's more people that carry guns than people think.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wear something like what you got right there and have a gun under there,
Right. And that would be considered concealed carry. And if I were concealing it, I'd have to have a permit.
you know?
Right.
I used to work at Big Lots, sell office furniture, not office furniture, home furniture, whatever. I seen a lot of people with guns walk around in there and you don't feel comfortable
No, you don't.
dealing with somebody
Right.
that's got a gun, because you don't know, I mean, he could be a perfect person, but he could also be a crazy person.
Right. And that's why I think when Governor Abbott did away with that open carry permit, I did not agree with that. That was something I didn't agree with, because you don't know who's carrying for what reason.
The only guns that the Democratic Party ever talked about was the assault weapons to be taken away.
Right.
You know, they never said anything about any
Right,
other
the
guns.
ARs, right,
You know.
assault weapons, assault
Yeah.
style weapons, right. And even those, the problem with that is, there's so many already out there.
Oh,
And what do we do with the ones that are already out there?
They stay forever guns.
I'm sorry,
They stay forever guns.
yeah, they
You
say,
can talk to
right,
people.
Uh,
I'm 80 and I probably got
yeah,
15 guns.
you would have
From the
to
time I was real young.
ask people on their honesty, come in, get it permitted, get it licensed, take a test. You know, how many, some people will do that, some people won't.
Yeah.
I think, but moving forward,
Yeah. it could
you
be
know,
done.
for new purchases of any kind, whether it's at a retail store, at a gun show, at a trade, person to person, there would need to be a lot more regulations on the AR-15s.
Well, look at the thugs are always gonna have guns,
The what?
the thugs,
Yeah.
and then people are always gonna buy them from the thugs, so,
Yeah,
you know, if you're gonna commit a crime, you're not gonna go to Academy and buy a gun.
no.
You're gonna buy one from a thug.
Or steal it.
Yeah, or
There
steal
you
it.
go.
And unfortunately, that's something we have to realize and be realistic about. But also, if you look at some of these, school shootings and others, there's record of them walking into gun stores a week before, 2 weeks before, a month before, and purchasing a gun.
Cause they're premeditating whoever they're gonna shoot,
Right,
or
because,
what, or
right,
where they're gonna shoot.
right. So we make it a little harder. At least we start, right?
And unfortunately, they're not gonna walk into the police station and shoot them, they're gonna go pick on little kids that
Right,
can't defend themselves.
Give them time.
yeah. So,
They go in everywhere else.
I'm sorry?
I said, they go in everywhere else, it won't take long, they go in the police station. Have you ever been to Austin to observe how they do some of the bills and stuff up there?
It's been a very long time since I've been to Austin, in person to watch that, watch stuff on TV and, watch them do their, thing on TV, but in person, it's been a long time since I've watched.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of, the congressional, floor debates as well,
Yeah.
but I've never been to DC, so.
And you've been around to quite a few places in
In
27?
twenty-seven, yes,
Yeah.
I have put 3,000 miles on my car in January.
Have you heard people talk about the border situation?
A little bit, not a lot, really, no, it's not come up a lot in the discussions that we've had. I know that there's, a lot that can be done with our immigration policy, and I understand they just killed that bill? Is that right? Wasn't there a
That's
bill
correct.
on immigration? Didn't that just?
Yeah, Trump came out and said that he wants to run on the border.
Right,
And then there was this swelling, probably from the super PACs and stuff, putting pressure onto the Congress people, and then finally McConnell
Right.
buckled.
right,
He,
That was
McConnell
today, right?
basically does not have the votes to get the bill passed.
right. I think that was a start, I don't know that it was a perfect bill, but I think it was a start. There's a lot of things I think we can do to create a path to citizenship for people that are coming over, especially those that are seeking asylum. I think that, what the governor's doing right now is not the answer at all.
They got that convoy down there.
Yeah, I have heard a little bit about that. I try not to, because I get mad if I watch this and stuff, so I kinda, try to stay away from it.
I can't believe that.
Because it's just drama, right?
I can't believe that the governor would back something like that.
And I have heard some people talk and read, interviews with some of the people that were on the convoy that were surprised at the lack of people coming over the border. They were surprised that the numbers weren't what they were told that they were going to
Really?
see. And they were surprised that it was, not what they were expecting. But definitely there's legislation that needs to happen as far as immigration.
Those people came from Virginia, what is it, West Virginia and everything? That convoy came all the way down from there.
Yeah, different states.
Bullies,
Interesting. Interesting.
a lot of people that are going down there, they're just bullies. They wanna join the, whatever's going tough to be bullies.
Well, they're just-
Basically acting
That's
like
what
a
I was
criminal
wondering.
organization
Yeah.
down there,
Huh?
causing fights,
Of course.
fighting with each other, fighting other people. One of them, got outed as a pedophile and was kicked out of the convoy. I mean, it's just been a complete and utter,
They said there was a
Something.
lot of white supremacists in there.
yeah.
Unfortunately. But
A
I
lot.
had the privilege of traveling up and down, District 27. My family actually has really, really deep roots here in 27. My family immigrated from Germany in the 1840s into DeWitt County. They came through New York before Ellis Island was Ellis Island and moved on down to Texas. My dad grew up part of his years in Corpus Christi, graduated from Corpus Christi Ray High School. We would go down in the summers and we would camp on the beach because we didn't have enough money for a hotel, so we would come and camp in the sand. Didn't even have a tent. We would just sleep on the beach, put a blanket on the beach, and wake up in the morning and be little crab marks around the. Anyway, so those are really great memories of coming down here, going on the dock and watch boats, all the things that we would do, and driving back and forth between Port Aransas and Lockhart. We never didn't stop in Goliad, at Fannan's Grave, or the Mission, or the state park there. There's so much rich history, looking at Texas 27, and it's so varied and diverse, and it's just, to me, every time I drive through here, it just sinks in more and more that this is where I need to be and this is what I need to be doing. Because I really feel a deep connection to the communities here, just because it's been a part of my life for basically my entire life, since I was 8 years old. And we actually lived in Robstown one year when I was in second grade, which was kind of funny. The other day I was in Robstown doing an event, and they thought that was kind of cute that I went to second grade in Robstown. So, deep roots in the community, and I care about it a great deal, and I care about the people here a great deal, and I want to make things better, and I want to make things right. Any other questions? Comments, concerns? Yes, ma'am?
You had 3 points, what was the first one?
Public education.
Education, that's what I thought.
Public
That's what I
education,
looked
that
at.
is the backbone of our economy, it's the backbone of our country, public education, and it's very important.
I live with a teacher.
What about those vouchers?
Oh, no vouchers.
Well, I know, I don't
Yeah.
want vouchers either. I think he's just getting a lot of money for those people, that want the vouchers, so they
Right.
donate millions to his campaign.
Well, yeah, and then vouchers, are paid for school, and so whoever runs the school gets paid,
Yeah,
to have these schools, and,
well, that's how they make their money.
That's
So
how they
the
make
people
their
that
money.
are backing him to do that want to make money.
and then we get into the whole Pearson
Yeah.
thing. Pearson is they publish textbooks.
Yeah.
Basically, and other materials. And the amount of money that goes into testing, because Pearson also does our STAR testing,
Yeah.
which is what every kid, has to take, and don't get me started on STAR testing, but the amount of money that Pearson gets for testing, and then they also publish the books to teach the kids that, it's just this round and round money thing.
Yeah.
Is crazy to me, when they could actually spend that money in the public school system to teach the kids and have the things that we need in the classroom to teach the kids.
Yeah.
I teach first grade, our science teachers tell us that we need to be in the lab 80% of the time. So we need to be hands-on 80% of the time in science. I don't have the things that I need to be hands-on 80% of the time. So last year, I wrote a grant through our Lockhart Education Foundation. They raise money for teachers. I wrote a grant last year for almost $4,000 and was awarded that grant. And I was able to purchase things like aquariums and terrariums and binoculars and hand lenses and measuring equipment, for liters and cups and measuring spoons, and the list goes on and on. And I was able to buy enough for one set for all of my team. So it was like $4,000, but if I hadn't had that grant through the foundation, we wouldn't have it in our classrooms to be able to use it with our kids, because the school district is not funded well enough to be able, those are extras, right? I mean, those are extras, because we gotta turn the lights on, and we gotta pay the teachers, and we gotta, you know, there's so many other things they have to do, that those things are, it's hard to, you know, put the money to that, which, I mean, is totally backwards to me, but that's kind of where we are with funding, so. And you had a question, I'm sorry.
What is like the recurring concerns that you're hearing a lot from both the left and the right? Like what is like the number one concerns that both the left and the right audience are like telling you?
That are the same concern?
It's like similar, like
That's hard to put together into one thing, because I feel like the right is very much against, abortion, like for any reason at all. They're very much against it, and the left sees a great need for that. There are a lot of people in the middle, and even on the Republican side, that say, yeah, we need to have exceptions. We need to have cut and dry exceptions, and the way the bills are written in Texas right now, they're very vague. And so I know that even on both sides, on the Republican side, there are a lot of concerns that Texas has taken that too far, for sure. Education is another one. I hear a lot on both sides. It is funny listening to people, because they both, right, complain, whatever you wanna call it, about it, and blame it on the other side, or blame, you know, put the blame here, put the blame there, but they're actually talking about the same thing, and it's the same solution and the same concern, just coming from a different point of view, which I find kind of ironic. So those are, you know, funding, definitely. Infrastructure funding is another thing that I hear a lot about, which we don't have enough of in 27. I think with the infrastructure bill, even though it passed, I wanna say there's maybe one project in 27 that is funded by the infrastructure bill, and I could be wrong, but I wanna say that that's what I've been able to uncover, is there's one project, which there should have been more, honestly. There's more things that can be done. There's one other thing.
That would come out of the state legislature, all of that money.
Through the government,
Yeah.
through Congress.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure that process of it. I looked into it some, it seemed like they needed to write grants or that kind of thing for it,
Mhm.
but that wasn't done in this district for some reason. So those are some, the farming and ranching is another big one, because, you know, food supplies, food sources, food deserts, you know, places where there's food scarcity, or a lack of healthy foods. You know, there's a lot of cheap food out there, and that's what our underprivileged people, that's what they have access to, and it's hard to get really nutritious food affordably, and I hear that from both sides as well. So, if that answered your question? Okay.
Have you spoken Victoria yet, or not?
I have spoken in Victoria. I was down there a couple of weeks ago, and I think I'm coming back on the 13th.
'Cause that's a big cloud area there.
It is.
I mean, they just love cloud. Even if they probably tell you they don't, they probably still vote for
The
them.
people that I talked to didn't like it, so, but it was also the Democratic Party.
Well, but
that
a
I
lot
went
of
down
people
to.
can say things and not
Yeah.
really mean them.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really trust the people that say that?
Yeah, and I think they're doing, a candidate forum in a couple of weeks in Victoria.
Look how many people
I don't know.
talk bad about Trump, and they're still gonna vote for him. So, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Biden. I mean, South Carolina,
talk's cheap, you know?
Yeah,
South Carolina, they thought, Biden would win by, 69%. He got like 96%.
right,
A lot of these people who do the polls and stuff, they say, you know, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that. And the approval rating is like this, but when it comes down to who they're gonna vote for,
right. You have two choices, right.
I mean, to be honest with you, at least, not to sound prejudiced, but at least you're white to go against cloud. So you have a better chance.
I don't know.
I think,
We'll
well,
see.
besides
I'm
being a woman,
too.
besides being a
And
woman,
a woman too.
that's the thing, 'cause
Yeah,
men still, they don't trust women.
some of them don't. Yes, sir.
On retired teachers, you know, you got that paid this year. And that COLA, when does that thing play out, that COLA that they were bragging about here?
Oh, when do they actually get paid?
Well, you started in January, but doesn't it end next year?
No, I don't think so. I'll have to look into that.
Check that out, cause I think it ends, a lot of teachers said, oh man, that's good, we're finally getting the COLA. And I think the way it's written, it ends in
2025.
In
So
2025.
January, we're done.
So let me look at that because, I
Look
know
at it.
that my parents, or my dad was a retired teacher and he just passed away a few weeks ago. And, my mom will continue to get his TRS check. That's the way he planned it when he retired.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways you can take TRS. So
But
I don't,
check that out, cause that's
I'm
the
gonna
point.
check that
A lot
out,
of
right,
teachers aren't, and the way I understood it, it only passed for 1 year, so
yeah,
you gotta get these teachers in and up and say, hey, that isn't any good.
right,
That's gonna be like when I retired in 2000, because of that Dem Nom list, they invested all that money.
Yeah.
And they lost it, and then there was no COLA at all, nothing, they stopped everything.
right. And that's a state thing, that's a state of Texas thing.
Yes, I know,
So,
state of Texas under our
Yeah,
Governor Abbott they take the rub.
yeah, yeah. So, now at a federal level, what I would look at for teachers is the windfall elimination program. And I don't know if you're familiar with that at all. It's called the WEP. So this is my second career. I did other things before I became a teacher. And I paid in my 40 quarters to Social Security. But because I'm a teacher and I have this windfall of retirement with TRS, then I no longer qualify to get my full retirement through Social Security. So I'll only collect about 20%, I think, of what I would have had I not been a teacher. So, and my husband and I both fall in that category. So that's something that we need to work on, especially for, our workers, our cafeteria ladies, our custodians, all those other people, because the TRS retirement is based on your 5 highest years
Yeah.
of pay.
Yeah.
And those ladies and gentlemen don't make nearly what teachers do. And I know what my retirement's gonna look like, and I would be afraid to see what theirs is. And they don't need to fall under that same program for sure. They deserve, to have that Social Security, because a lot of them work 2 jobs. Because they work that, school jobs during the school year, and then other jobs in the summertime, because they don't get paid in the summertime, because they're not there. Because they're hourly. Yeah,
How about minimum wage in Texas? It's 7.25, I guess, right?
I'm sorry?
Minimum wage in Texas? I don't know what they pay custodians and all that, but I know it's not very much. It's more than anyhow.
Yeah, I know that, our district doesn't pay minimum wage. It's not, huge different, and the minimum wage is like $7.25, $7.50, something like that. I wanna say they're probably around the $12 to $15 an hour, but that's still not a livable wage. It's still not a livable wage, especially when we're talking about insurance and those kind of things. Now, our district, went out on a limb this last 2 years ago, because, 4 years ago, TRS said, okay, we'll allow other people to come in and we'll let you shop other insurance companies. And so our district said, okay, and they brought in another insurance company, so you could choose from TRS or you could choose from the Texas Teachers, I don't know, something or another insurance. And so many people switched to that because it was cheaper and it was better. The TRS went, oh, we can't have that. You can't offer anything but TRS anymore. That's all you can offer for insurance. And so my district superintendent and our school board went back and behind closed doors, and they're like, what can we do? And they decided to do a self-funded insurance plan. So they kicked TRS to the curb, and TRS said, oh, that's fine, just remember, you can't come back for 5 years. If you don't take our insurance, you can't come back for 5 years. So my superintendent was like, that's fine, we're good. And so they've done a self-funded insurance program. It's been the best thing that the district has ever done. It saved me a ton of money out of pocket, and my doctor's office is so happy with this insurance. We got a letter, my husband and I got a letter from her before Christmas is that I'm dropping all insurance. I'm not taking insurance anymore. I'm tired of fighting with them. You know, it's back and forth, and I don't get paid, and it takes forever, and so I'm just not taking insurance anymore. And, so I went to see her in December sometime. I'm like, tell me again, what date is it that you're not gonna take insurance, because I'm still coming to you regardless, because you're a good doctor, and I'm gonna keep telling me. She goes, no, we're taking your insurance, it's the only one we're keeping. She goes, because I can submit a claim, and I get a check, there's no haggle, we're not back and forth, and so we're good to go. So, hopefully, I mean, they really stepped out big time, and it was one of the best things they've ever done as a district. So, there's things we can do to fix healthcare too. I mean, we just do it. Anything else? You good?
Anything else?
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me come and visit with you guys this evening.
There's a lot of teachers in retirement, and in recording.
Yeah,
Get them,
yeah.
and not a lot of them are Republicans, so.
I'm meeting with the Bastrop AFT tomorrow evening, which is the American Federation of Teachers. They have a group in Bastrop. I'm meeting with them tomorrow, so.
I can give her a name, give you
Okay.
from a lady